WAGA-TV, Atlanta.
The following program is pre-recorded.
This is 5 News Scene tonight. Forrest Sawyer and Pam Martin anchor the News Scene team. Bill Hartman with Superstar Sports. And meteorologist Ken Cook with Color Radar Weather.
Good evening. Wayne Williams is back in the Fulton County Jail tonight. Today, a Fulton County magistrate ruled that there is enough evidence to hold him for the murder of Nathaniel Cater, the 28th victim in the Atlanta murder cases. Williams' case will be heard by a Fulton County grand jury within the next month. And News Scene's Barbara Nevins reports that the district attorney is basing that case on fiber evidence found on Cater's body.
My client is innocent. He did not kill anyone.
Even after she had heard the district attorney's evidence in court, Mary Welcome maintained her client's innocence. The day had been a long one for both the attorney and her client. Since early morning, news crews had staked out the Fulton County Jail, hoping for a glimpse of Williams. Williams was hustled out of the jail, driven to the courthouse, and hustled in. Security was tight in the courtroom, where it was up to District Attorney Lewis Slayton to prove he has a case against Williams. That there is enough evidence to link Williams to the murder of 28-year-old Nathaniel Cater, the 28th victim on the task force list. Cater was found dead, floating in the Chattahoochee on May 24th. The DA's evidence is based first on the fact that Williams was spotted on this bridge over the Chattahoochee River, not far from where Cater's body was found. A rookie police officer, Freddie Jacobs, who had been working a stakeout on May 22nd, testified he saw Williams driving a station wagon in the early morning hours, close to the rail of the bridge, after another officer heard a splash. Nothing was discovered in the river then, and Williams was not taken into custody. The bulk of the DA's case seems to rest on what they call trace evidence. Crime lab technician Larry Peterson testified that he took a sample of Cater's hair, and microscopic testing revealed that one fiber taken from the hair matched green carpet fiber in Williams' bedroom. One fiber found in the hair matched fibers in the violet and green bedspread in Williams' room. And dog hairs from Williams' dog matched 3 or 4 dog hairs found in Cater's hair. Today, some close to the investigation questioned the strength of the fiber evidence, but District Attorney Lewis Slayton is ready to take the case to the grand jury within 30 days.
Have you got something more now?
Well, whatever I've said before concerning evidence was before we had someone charged, and now I restrict myself on discussing evidence, so I'm not able to discuss the evidence.
Magistrate Albert Thompson, before the hearing began, admonished those in the courtroom to be clear that Wayne Williams' guilt or innocent would not be determined by the outcome of this court hearing. Barbara Nevins, 5 News Scene Tonight.
One of the most persistent questions heard since Sunday's arrest of 23-year-old Wayne Williams has been what happens now with the investigation of the other 27 killings. Sunday, less than an hour after Williams' arrest, that question was put to Public Safety Commissioner Lee Brown.
One charge, he's been held on at this time.
The investigation in the other 27 cases is continuing then?
The investigation shall continue full steam ahead as before.
How do you feel, Commissioner? It's been a long haul for you.
We are going to continue our efforts. Even at this point, we've made arrest on 1 case.
Since then, there's been no public indication that the Special Task Force, which is comprised of state and local law enforcement officers, has scaled down its efforts. But at the FBI offices downtown, things are already changing. Tonight, a reliable source told News Scene Special Unit that FBI officials in Washington have already approved a substantial reduction in the number of federal agents assigned to the case. FBI agents are so certain that Wayne Williams is the primary Atlanta killer that as many as 2 to 3 dozen agents will be pulled out of Atlanta by the end of this week. Agents still working promising leads involving Wayne Williams will remain here until those leads are exhausted. But that large-scale commitment of federal investigators is now drawing to an end. The federal investigation, which the FBI entitled AT-KID, that's for Atlanta Kids Investigation, began last November with the assignment of 26 agents to the cases. It's been a bad day for Wayne Williams. Not only is he bound over to a grand jury, he lost the battle over those federal suits that he filed in court. Federal Judge Orinda Evans denied Williams' request for a temporary restraining order, barring the media and police from talking about him in connection with the 28 murder cases. Well, the judge said there's no need for a restraining order. He has been arrested in one of the cases. And Evans said Williams has shown no evidence that he's been harassed by the media. She also said that that there wasn't enough evidence to support his claim that police violated his constitutional rights or subjected him to prejudicial pretrial publicity.
Several candidates for mayor of Atlanta tonight talked about taxing non-city residents, and 3 of them called for the elimination of the police commissioner's post. 5's Jim Kay reports that 5 of the city's 7 mayoral hopefuls were speaking at the invitation of the Associated Builders and Contractors of Georgia.
The 5 candidates were speaking to business people, so their remarks were geared accordingly. Young and Marcus promised to cut red tape and make it easier for builders to obtain their permits and work with more flexible zoning laws. They were all asked about expansion of the city limits to improve the tax base. None was in favor of it, but taxing suburbanites who work in the city was proposed by Marcus and Young.
People who work here but do not live here ought to make some sort of contribution for the service delivery system that they utilize and for the amenities of our city. I think that someday that's coming.
Regional tax sharing plans, a commuter tax. There are all kinds of ways to assume responsibility for the aggressive growth and development of this entire region.
The builders and contractors asked about Atlanta's so-called low-paid and disgruntled police department and how it deals with a high crime rate. Reginald Eves, a former police commissioner, said something can be done.
We saw 263 homicides in 1973. The year I left, the last full year that I was there, we saw that reduced to 125 homicides. It can be done.
3 other candidates said they'd get rid of the police commissioner to improve matters. Marcus, along with Wayne Shulman and Mildred Glover.
I've called before for the elimination of the position of Commissioner of Public Safety because I don't think the position is necessary.
I'd move the commissioner over and get somebody who's probably more trained in investigations.
City elections are set for October the 6th. Jim Kay, 5 News Scene.
Now get ready. Property taxes are going up in DeKalb County.
And a hearing tonight to talk about annexing South Fulton County.
During Food Giant Dollar Days, Dollar Day bargains store-wide. Plus, save over $1 a pound on U.S. Choice boneless chuck roast. Leaner Western corn-fed beef. Stock up only $1.37 a pound. Maxwell House coffee pound bag only $1.99 at Food Giant. Clorox bleach gallon jug 69 cents. Continue your Sculptura stoneware collection. This week's feature, saucers. Just 79 cents each with each $3 purchase. Come save at Food Giant now.
You can't see the hard rubber in this golf ball, but you can feel it when you drive. Hi, I'm Lee Trevino for Bridgestone's new advanced technology super filler steel-belted radial tires. You can't see the super filler of hard rubber here in the sidewall, but you can feel it when you drive. Bridgestone super filler means premium performance for starting, stopping, and cornering. Count on Bridgestone in super filler radials. Put them between you and the road. You can feel it when you drive.
Check the yellow pages for the Bridgestone dealer near you.
When I came to Neil Pope Ford, I was treated very special. I was looking for a nice, dependable car that would get good gas mileage in a price range that I could afford.
They're friendly, and I trust them.
I would definitely recommend Neil Pope Ford. I recommended a good friend of mine there, and she bought a used car just recently.
If you want to know about Neil Pope Ford AMC, don't ask him, ask his customers.
California avocado prices are sliced.
And they're a beautiful buy now.
From time to time, talk crops up of annexing part or all of North and South Fulton County into the city of Atlanta. Recently, some mayoral candidates have been suggesting that possibility. Well, that talk led to a meeting tonight in South Fulton County, a kind of anti-annexation rally. Hundreds of people attended, including many of the area's state legislators. And the sentiments of the area residents were very clear.
I think the county should be ruled by the county. The city should be ruled by the city.
If I wanted to live in Atlanta, I'd move to Atlanta. I don't live in Atlanta, and I don't want to live in Atlanta.
Inside the crowded meeting room of the building ironically named the South Fulton Annex, the speakers, mostly state legislators, echoed their constituents' sentiments.
I don't believe we're even close to annexation. I think the mayor's race probably prompted candidate about annexation, and I think it built from there in a very not inappropriate, but a very unnecessary way. I don't think there's any hazard or any danger of any forthcoming imminent bill concerning annexation.
Then I think to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And these people up here, these are your people, they represent you also. We'll go to battle for you.
It's very clear that this is not a meeting to discuss the good and bad points of annexation. Not a single public official has spoken in its favor tonight. But judging from the reaction of the audience, they're among allies here.
I'd like to ask you to hold your hands up. Wait just a minute before you do. I'd like to have you to hold your hands up, let these cameras throw it on you while you're doing it, and let's send a message to the governor and anybody else.
The greatest concern in the room was that the General Assembly might legislate the annexation during this next session. Only one speaker felt that that is a serious possibility. She was worrying that Governor Busby might hold talks on the subject sometime during the General Assembly.
If you own property in DeKalb County, your property taxes are going up again. The DeKalb Commission has voted to boost county taxes by almost 3 mills. Now, here's what you're going to get for that extra money. The new revenue will pay for 108 county employees. That includes 25 more police officers, 25 more firefighters on the force, 42 more people will be hired for emergency medical services. That's a total of 92 more people in that area of the county government. And the DeKalb County Jail will get $1 million facelift. The commission split 4-3 on the increase. To the 4 who favored it, that hike was inevitable.
DeKalb County runs a business, and their business is to provide quality services to the people, that serves all the needs of the people of DeKalb County. And the cost of running that business and providing that service has risen, just like the price of a new home or the price of a loaf of bread has risen.
Now, with this increase and another from the schools, the tax bill for a $40,000 home will jump $48, and a home valued at $80,000 will cost $108 more a year in taxes. The commission also approved a 5% cost of living raise for county employees and said it thought it could avoid another tax increase next year. Well, over in Cobb County, it was election day, and voters there decided by a narrow margin to keep the county sales tax right where it is. The turnout was light. Only 16% of the registered Cobb County voters went to the polls. They voted down an increase in the county tax from 3% to 4%. 52% voted against the hike, 48% for. Only 23,000 of the 130,000 voters went to the polls.
And Pam, the city of Atlanta is trying to keep MARTA from raising its fare July 1st, but a federal judge says he's not going to stop that fare hike. The city entered a lawsuit last year to try and keep the MARTA fare at 25 cents. MARTA raised the rate to 50 cents then, and this week they voted to raise it again to 60 cents. Well, the city filed another suit today, and federal court Judge Marvin Shube attached the new suit to the old one, which is still pending. Judge Shube said that MARTA should listen to the city's ideas for keeping fares low, but he refused to make the transit authority keep its rates at the current level. So on July 1st, that fare is going to be 60 cents a ride.
Coming up, a report on those brush fires out in California. You've had some response from your little pitch at 6,
We wanted to find out what it's like further up north where it's cool, and let me tell you, it's not all peaches and cream up there, and I'll tell you why when we come back right after this.
Some are born to lead with noble spirit and endless ability, like the Canon A1. The A1 with 5 automatic exposure modes plus manual. To stop action or let it flow. To control depth of field. To add light automatically. To use light dramatically. The Canon A1, born to lead.
Champagne any day. When you feel special. Champagne any day. When you feel special.
When you're with that special someone, make it right tonight. Drink sparkling extra dry champagne. Special taste, special sparkle. Extra dry champagne.
Champagne any day. When you feel special.
Champagne, an alcoholic beverage from Iroquois Brands.
The secret to gasoline is not to buy the most octane, but the right octane.
Jerry Burke talks about gasoline.
With 3 grades, I can satisfy just about any car. But octane isn't the only way you judge gasoline. Dependable gasoline has to start quick and keep your carburetor clean. Those are qualities Exxon puts in all 3 of their gasolines. So whatever grade you buy, it's good.
Exxon has thousands of independent dealers who offer a choice of quality products and services. Jerry Burke is one of them.
PM Magazine, Atlanta's best. Entertainment weeknights, 7:30. I'm John Patrick. On Wednesday's edition, you'll meet a heart attack victim with 2 options, open heart surgery or a new revolutionary procedure that is far less expensive and requires no anesthesia. We'll show you what it is, how it changed his life. And then we'll take you to the International Frisbee Championships to see some of the fanciest saucer flying this side of science fiction on the next edition of PM Magazine, Wednesday, 7:30.
So it's not the heat up north, it's
the bugs. I heard from several people, and they're bothered by bugs in the summertime because it doesn't get hot enough. And in Maine, black flies come out when it starts to get warm, late June, early July. And in Massachusetts right now, especially around Worcester, Massachusetts, they're being invaded by gypsy moth caterpillars, just billions of them, the gentleman says. And would you believe it, in Wisconsin, even on the 4th of July, you have to wear your winter coat sometime. That's not a lot of fun. So I guess we'll just tolerate the heat a while longer, and sure enough, before you know it, it's going to be September. Well, today was one of those incredibly hot days. 96 was the high, 72 was the low. No rain in the last 24 hours. Records for the state, 99 in 1944 and 58 in 1947. At 11 o'clock in Atlanta now, the temperature has cooled down to 81 degrees. Skies are fair. A few high clouds have come in from the thunderstorms in South Georgia. Winds are now northwesterly at 9 miles an hour. Relative humidity has come up a little bit, 57%. Barometric pressure also rising, 30 and 5/100 inches. Here's a look at live color radar from Atlanta. We're still showing some thunderstorm activity from about Albany, south of Columbus into southern Alabama. It's continuing to move to the west or northwest, but it's going to stay well south of the Atlanta area for the remainder of tonight and tomorrow as well. Here's a look at the satellite picture from late this evening. We show a lot of clouds over the southern United States, but only 1 or 2 active areas in Texas, also in southern Alabama and southern Georgia, and then some more heavy thunderstorms, especially the ones in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, where there have been some thunderstorms with strong winds, hail, and even tornadoes this evening. On our national weather map from this afternoon, we show our stationary front, which has dipped down into Georgia but didn't give us any relief from the heat. Scattered thunderstorms in the south today. Scattered thunderstorms more numerous along our cold front and near the low pressure area moving into the north central section of the country. Now you might think I made a mistake here, but I didn't. In North Dakota, temperatures of 62, while in South Dakota, some areas had temperatures of 102 prior to the cold frontal passage earlier this afternoon. Out west, the temperature was soaring to 115 degrees. Here's a look at temperatures now for tomorrow. More 115-degree heat out west, 90-degree heat in the south, 70s and 80s in the north. Over Georgia at 10 o'clock tonight, temperatures cooling down but still warm in a lot of areas in the upper 80s. Here's my forecast for Atlanta and vicinity. It's going to be a little less humid tonight, therefore a little more pleasant. Lows between 65 and 70 degrees, but don't count on it for tomorrow. It'll be hot again, up to 96, and the rest of the week looks like this. The heat wave simply continues, Pam, with temperatures near 97 and lows not much better than 72. And we're not even forecasting any rain at all. But fortunately, we don't have too many bugs.
No, but it is hot Atlanta, right?
Very hot Atlanta.
All right.
Well, we can be grateful that we're not getting the problems we are out in Northern California. Those huge brush fires out there in the Napa Valley are still out of control. Officials say they were deliberately set. And so far, 9 people have been injured, 26,000 acres destroyed, at least 40 homes burned to the ground. And to make matters worse, the fires are now headed for hard-to-reach backcountry. That's where conventional firefighting methods just can't be used.
President Reagan tries to mend some political fences.
And some harsh criticism for the administration from House Speaker Tip O'Neill.
The Wine Institute of New England is one of the largest wine tasting schools in the world. Its founder, Robert Valcuse, recently compared 2 California rosés.
For me, the best way to judge wine is side by side. That's how I compared Tila California Cellars and Almaden Mountain Nectar Rosé. I found Tila California Cellars to have better color, better flavor. A great wine to serve with ham or chicken, much better than Almaden.
Taylor California Cellars, a better rosé. Judge for yourself.
The Giant announces a revolutionary way to fly your overnight package on the ground. It's Purelator Courier's Southeast Connection. Same overnight delivery you'd get with a plane for about half the cost. Reliable overnight van service from Atlanta, Jacksonville, Birmingham, and Charlotte, and hundreds of points in between. You don't pay for a plane when a van will do. The Southeast Connection from Pure Later Courier, the giant of the overnight package delivery business.
Now you could win an all-expense-paid vacation for two to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, picturesque Montreal, Canada, or glamorous Las Vegas when you enter Otasco's McGuire Polished North American Sweepstakes. Plus over 100 Otasco shopping sprees valued up to $1,000. There's no obligation, nothing to buy. But while you're registering, you'll want to save on McGuire's complete line of car care products. Register now for Otasco's McGuire Polished North American Sweepstakes.
I'm Dave Thomas, and I started Wendy's with one restaurant and a philosophy. Never use frozen hamburgers. Use fresh ground beef. Then I figured, why would anyone go anyplace else?
Once you've tasted Wendy's hamburgers made from fresh ground beef, and you know it tastes great. Just kidding. Why go anyplace else?
Beats the heck out of me, Dave.
Wendy's ain't no a reason to go anyplace else.
History's been made. For the first time since 1947, there are going to be communists in the cabinet of a major Western government. The new socialist president of France, François Mitterrand, has named a cabinet that will include 4 communists. Now, the appointments are no surprise. They pay off some campaign debts for Mitterrand. The 4 are not considered Moscow hardliners. They have, in fact, taken anti-Soviet positions on such matters as the invasion of Afghanistan. President Reagan met at the White House today with leaders of the NAACP, and it was an effort at some fence mending. There are some black leaders who believe the new administration just isn't sensitive to the needs of minorities. So the president says he's going to address the NAACP convention next week in December. Remember, during last year's campaign, an invitation to Mr. Reagan to address the organization was never answered. The Reagan staff said at the time that the invitation was just lost.
Well, President Reagan may also have to do some quick fence mending with House Democrats if he wants to get his budget cut plan through Congress. House Speaker Tip O'Neill today delivered his strongest attack yet on Reagan. O'Neill told a United Steelworkers Conference that the administration is trying to undo 30 years of programs put together by government and labor.
The President of the United States has a propaganda mill going out there like I've never seen. We're going to wake up one day with this country destroyed. We've got to spread the word across America that what they're doing with the new programs is for the selfish, is for the greedy, is for the affluent.
And O'Neill accused the Reagan administration of acting with arrogance after the landslide victory in November. Now with tonight's editorial, here's Mary Stimmel.
The arrest of Wayne Williams in connection with the death of one of the 28 missing and murdered young people has been surrounded with the kind of media blitz and excitement that was predictable under the circumstances. We've all been saddened and upset by these killings. At times it seemed that there would never be an end to the repeated nightmare of yet another body being found. We are all anxious, and still are, for the task force to find those responsible for the deaths of these youngsters. But what all of us, you and me, must now remember is that our American system of justice is one where a man is innocent until he is proved guilty. The police and the district attorney have been extremely careful because of the seriousness of this case. They knew that whoever was arrested would be subjected to intense media attention and perhaps worse. We should now ask ourselves to be as careful. It's all too easy to make snap judgments or to try a man in our minds before he is brought to trial. It's easy to jump to conclusions, but in fairness to Mr. Williams and his family, let's not let public opinion convict him before he ever gets to court.
Send us your opinion, Box 4207, Atlanta.
Well, Dennis, while the Atlanta Braves are cooling their heels, the Chiefs are pretty hot out there, huh?
Chiefs won again tonight in front of another small crowd at the stadium. We'll have highlights when I get back.
When you see the dot, you save a lot at Big Star. Get red dot specials like Clorox bleach, gallon jug of very low 59 cents. Fresh ground beef, 3-pound package or larger, just $1.19 a pound. And now, Big Star offers the fun of Six Flags, the land of screams and dreams at a special saving. Buy your tickets to Six Flags at Big Star and save $1.75 on each ticket at Big Star.
When we tell you Michelin radials last and last.
Well, that's no surprise.
When we tell you Michelin radials save gas.
That's no surprise.
But when we tell you you can get Michelins for about the same price as other leading radials.
Now that's a surprise.
But it's true. We're America's fastest growing tire company. We make the tire you need at a price you can afford. See your Michelin dealer and prices set for your car. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Michelin, we put America on radials.
Ever since they put Gulf Light Charcoal Starter in the new plastic bottle,
America's pouring on the charcoal, lighting up the grill with ease. Cause Gulf Light Charcoal Starter is a breeze to squeeze. Gulf Light Charcoal Starter, it's no chore to store. Gulf Light Charcoal Starter won't rust anymore. Get the one that starter, the bottle's new. And go ahead and barbecue.
I like those tiny little tea leaves in the iced tea bag. There's a big difference between a Tetley iced tea bag and hot tea bags. One Tetley iced tea bag makes a whole pitcher full, and Tetley uses a different blend of tiny little tea leaves specially made for iced tea. Refreshing. So for iced tea with a big difference, don't use hot tea bags. Use the family size iced tea bag from Tetley. Try Tetley's tiny little tea leaves in the iced tea bag.
You know, Dennis, I would have bet with the baseball strike that the Chiefs would have had a much bigger crowd.
We talked about it at 6 o'clock. I was expecting at least 10,000. Tampa Bay was in town, but our estimates were around 5, maybe 6, something like that. The good news, though, was that the Atlanta Chiefs did defeat the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Final score from the stadium, Chiefs 5, Rowdies 4. They were down by a 2-0 score when Keith Furphy scores from way out. That gets them up on top by, as we say, or excuse me, that gets them back into the game 2-1. Now the Chiefs have a corner kick, goes in close to the goal. Now there's a foul called. The goalkeeper did not think so, and you see him arguing vehemently with the referee, but a penalty kick was called. Brian Kidd lines it up and gets it home. It's a 2-2 game as they go into the locker room at halftime. Second half, the Chiefs take the lead when Carl Strong was the most surprised guy in the place as he scored his first goal of the season. It's Chiefs 3-2. Brian Kidd scores again. Look at that move, and what a shot. It's 4-2. Webster LaChava will close out the scoring for the Chiefs. Webster, with also one of the infrequent times he ever gets a goal. The header goes in. Final score, Chiefs 5-4 over Tampa Bay. The players and the owners are scheduled to get back together, on Wednesday and possibly work out an agreement that would bring an end to that baseball strike. Now, those talks are set for 2 o'clock in New York. Don't hold your breath waiting for anything major to come out of that either. However, on the minor league diamonds, play continued, and, well, it was really a good game in the minor leagues, as we say. Richmond playing host to the Columbus Clippers, and it's a 0-0 ball game. Steve Balboni connects for Columbus, a farm club of the New York Yankees. Ken Daly on the mound. It's a 2-0 ball game just that quick, 6th inning. Go to the top of the 8th inning. Dave Stegman is the batter, also for Columbus, and he's facing Mr. Daly again, one of the top prospects in the Braves farm system. Good night. No doubt about that one either. It is very quickly 3-0.
Stegman has touched one off.
They call them the R Braves in Richmond. They make a little bit of noise in the bottom of the 8th inning. One man on, catcher Matt Sinatro up. He delivers, but it wasn't enough. Richmond loses by a 3-2 score. And that longest baseball game ever, well, that was completed. Pawtucket beat Rochester 3-2 after just 18 minutes. That was after they had played 32 innings in a suspended game going back to April 18th and 19th. The PGA Championship will be held this year at the Atlanta Athletic Club. And officials from the PGA were in town today to take a look at the layout. It's quite an honor to have the PGA come to your town, and I asked the president of the PGA, Joe Black, just how the AAC got it.
Well, the primary consideration is the golf course, the quality of the golf course. Without a doubt, the Atlanta Athletic Club is a great golf course. The second consideration is the other facilities at the club, and categorically, Atlanta Athletic Club has the finest physical facilities to put on a championship of any club in the country. Then the third thing is the people at the club and in the community and how we feel they would support our championship.
All the top seeds on the women's side of Wimbledon took home victories. Lloyd, Navratilova, Austin, Jaeger, Mandlikova, and young Kathy Rinaldi were victorious. In fact, Rinaldi became the youngest winner in the history of Wimbledon at age 14.
14 years of age, and she's playing against these girls that are all the way up to 16 and 17. I tell you what, you're 20 years old in the tennis field anymore, and you're over the hill.
Boy, that's true. Thank you, Dennis.
That's about it.
And that's 5 News Scene Tuesday night, June 23rd. For the News Scene team, I'm Forrest Sawyer.
And I'm Pam Martin. We'll see you again tomorrow night.
Portions of News Scene have been brought to you by Food Giant,